one police car at the front and one police car at the back, and we're all going to ride in a group together. The plan is we're going to go out on Martin Street, we're going to turn left onto the Story Bridge. We're going to stay in the left-hand lane of the Story Bridge, so just pick a buddy that you want to ride to abreast with. We're going to stay in that lane all the way down Sharpston Avenue until Mowbray Park. So then we're going to turn left onto Park Avenue and go into the park and into the car park. We'll just say a very few brief words once we get to the park. Down from Bicycle Queensland anyway. Give me a hand.
G'day everyone. Thanks again for your presence, for your perseverance, for your courage to get out there and stand up against the terrible aspects of this dark legislation. So remember the things we're fighting against. Stupid speed limits for e-bikes on footpaths, shared paths, trails. The more we've heard, we are hearing that the government just didn't even consult with its own departments and landholders and asset owners about these assets, about the implications of this bill. And they are angry. You're not hearing it in public, but I can tell you, insiders are angry. There is frustration right across, but Queenslanders of all walks submitted to this inquiry. We had about 5,000 submissions. It is one of the 3 most submitted to inquiries in the last 12 years in Queensland. Queenslanders of all walks of life have said this bill sucks and we need to change this bill. So thank you. So hopefully, I think we're going to win in terms of recognising e-bikes as being 1504 and compliant bikes moving forward. So we think we're already getting wins out of this process. But there's a long way to go and we're very nervous. So thank you for keeping up the pressure. Bicycle Queensland will be out in the electorate of Stafford on Saturday. Who would have thought that Peppermint Bikeway, one of the most used bikeways in Queensland, which is about to become 10 kilometres per hour. For those who have a car licence, to be able to ride on. So, just keep it up everyone. Thank you so much. Can I just say, the local parks, starting with the Story Bridge, Active Trail Alliance, Space for Cycling, CBD Park, West Park, South Park, North Park, East Park, Airport Park, people in this town have been awesome. So thank you everyone. Keep up the fight. Hopefully, in a few weeks we'll be able to announce safe legal e-bikes, but it's fingers crossed and squeaky bum time at this point. Thanks everyone.
A brief rundown on what happens from here. So for those who are not aware, the e-mobility committee will be handing down a report on the draft bill tomorrow. This is the same committee that came up with the original 28 recommendations from the original e-mobility inquiry. So the state government has gone away and drafted up this bill, which in many ways is worse than the original 28 recommendations, which were already pretty bad. That's now going back to the committee for review. The committee will produce a report tomorrow with more recommendations. I guess the thing that we're nervous about at this point is the committee could come back with any number of recommendations on the bill. They may recommend exemptions, they may recommend taking things out, they may recommend putting things in. But the state government does not necessarily have to act on those recommendations. And there's many things from the original 28 recommendations that the state government didn't put into the bill or put into the bill but worse. So, for example, the original inquiry recommended that illegal e-motorbikes, high-powered electric motorbikes, should only be sold by licensed motor traders. That recommendation is not in the bill. So the loophole to sell, quote-unquote private property use only devices is just going to continue. So the committee, for example, could come back and say, the speed limit should only apply to footpaths, or the speed limit should, only apply to PMDs, and it shouldn't apply to e-bikes. But that may not actually be what happens when the bill is debated in Parliament. So I just want to say we're really anticipating the recommendations coming out tomorrow, because that will kind of prove a direction where we're going. But that is by no means the end of the fight, and it's certainly not, we don't want to be lulled into a false sense of security. We're only really going to know what happens once the bill is debated and voted on in Parliament. And if you are not a politically aware person, the LNP has a sole majority in Queensland, and there is no upper house in Queensland. So whatever the LNP want to pass in Parliament will pass in Parliament. It's really up to them. So if I can encourage you guys to do one thing, I know everybody has probably already made a submission and written to their local MP, but if I can encourage you guys to write to your local MP again, maybe even give them a phone call, leave them a voice message, maybe even go and knock on the electorate door in person and say, I will not vote for you unless you knock out the speed limits, the age limits, and the licensing requirements of this bill. And I really encourage you to do that, no matter what party your local member is a part of, because again, we just have no guarantee of what is going to happen until the bill is debated and voted on in Parliament. So we really want to make all the MPs feel a lot of pressure to vote no for